Good evening, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new season here at Gavra Racing. It's a delight to be back here for the Weekend League Tier 2 Season 4. And there are a number of cars going out on circuit for the first round of the season here at the Algarve International Circuit of Portimao. It's a great circuit to be starting off the new season with. Loads of drivers out on track at the moment. We're going to go through their lap times as and when we come through, and that's going to be exciting to see. I'm Jack TM53, your commentator as always for Gavra Weekend Leagues 2 and 1. They'll be racing later on tonight, we'll Tier 1, but right now our focus is firmly towards our drivers of the Weekend League Tier 2. We've got 17 drivers in tonight. I know 2 are missing due to unforeseen circumstances and external issues. I know that the Steps is not here tonight, as is Lionel Griesby, so 2 absentees, but a good strong field nevertheless with 17 in for tonight. But let me run you through the drivers who are going to be competing in the championship. We've got the Alfa Romeo drivers of Kirby P and Fake Knutson, who are both here tonight, which is good to see. We have AlphaTauris of JMB Surreal and Mello Bello. They're both out on circuit. JMB on a flying lap at the moment. In the Alpines, we have Denmark and Spanel 57. In the Aston Martins, we've got Moroka and Jarno, who making his debut, I believe, with Gavra, if I'm correct in saying. Ferraris, they have Mikey, just Mikey in tonight, as I mentioned, just and on circuit we've got Cable Monkey and Frizzy Prison. Money Game going quick, as I'll talk about Money Game shortly. We would have had the Steps, but he's not here, but we do have F1 Dino in the McLaren. He'll be driving in Tier 1 later on. In the Mercedes, we also have, where are they on circuit action? Just to see where the 2 Mercedes drivers are. I can actually see them, but the 2 Mercedes drivers would have been Dr. Strauss 18 and, well, as usual, obviously, that's very interesting choice of the name there. We also have in the Red Bull Sick Boy and Jay Evans. Both Red Bulls there on track at the moment. And finally, we have the Williams 2 of Matka and VFR Overwatch as well. So good to have them all out on track, racing around, seeing how they get on. Now, one thing I wanted to mention, Money Game is here tonight. He's just a replacement for the Steps, who I mentioned earlier. He is out on, so he's done a 117.6 on the medium compound tyres. But he is just in for tonight, going back to his old territory where he used to be so quick, of course, and won the championship a few seasons back. So we will see how he gets on. We're following the Aston Martin note of Jarno the Killer. He's just coming around the final corner, turn number 15. Just completing the lap of 2.891 miles, and that's a lap time that puts Jarno in 12th place. Jarno the Killer, more like Jarno the Truly if he gets his 1 lap pace sorted. Some of you might remember Jarno Truly back in the day. Used to drive for Toyota, Renault, Prost, for those that can go even further back and remember him driving in the Prost, and Minardi when he made his debut. Hello to everyone who was in the chat though at the moment. Good to have you in. It's really a delight to see you here, ready for the start of the new season. I also want to just give a quick mention to our sponsor, 3DPrinting4U. If you ever want to get yourself, you see the track, you might see Portimao up there, you might see the layout for you in the bottom right corner, and think, I tell you what, I'd like that in my house. Go on their website and have a little check of it there. You might just be able to find a track map that you can have on your stand, show it off to your friends. That's well worth it. Show you the Formula 1 nerd that you all rightfully should be. So that's something you can have a look at. 3DPrinting4U. Great to have them on board with us at Gavra. We've got, in terms of the running order, we've got Overwatch currently on provisional pole. Dino up there in second place. Not a surprise to see Dino up there. Kobe there in third. Moricon in fourth. Frizzy Prism. This is an interesting lap from Frizzy at 17.2, but he's done it on the medium tyre, so a lot more time for him to gain there. Spot in sixth position. Can he mount any form of race victory attempt this season? He's a very good driver, is Spanner. You've got Money Game in seventh on those medium tyres as well. Matka, Jay Evans, and Mikey in the top 10. Good to see him up there. Now, I will mention, of course, I've briefly mentioned this in the past, I am good friends with Mikey RK13 and Lion agrees with me, so if I'm a bit critical of them, it's just because I can be, because they're my friends and I can wind them up. So, who are we following on circuit? We've got Sick Boy, a driver who scored a couple of podiums last season, did the boy. He did have his, well, almost brother in name, Tutty Boy, but he's not rejoined for this season, sadly, so it's just one boy on his own. In the Red Bull round in this final corner here at turn 15 of Portimao, up the hill, DRS open, and that's a 1:18.7. So first lap on the board, that gets a banker down for him. 2.4 seconds separates the 16 drivers. Cable Monkey's been disqualified. I didn't see what had gone on. Maybe he's spun and tried to reverse on circuit, and that's probably disqualified him, which is a shame because that does happen in this game. I'm not sure why that happens, but hey-ho, there we are. We will see how the drivers get on tonight. There's a lot of action to be had, and I'm sure that everybody will be excited to see it. I'm really excited to be back commentating once again. We've got the Red Bull out there. We're just following the in-lap really of Sick Boy at the moment. See if we can ride on board with a driver who might be on a flying lap. I think Matka is on a lap currently. Evening to Big Boy as well, who's in the comments. But Matka looks like he's on a lap at the moment. Looks like he's pushing quite hard in the Williams towards the left-hander of turn 12, where we saw a big accident last week in Tier 1, a 4-car pile-up through that corner. Hopefully Tier 2 can avoid doing that again. Matt's going to run out of energy recovery system. That's the battery that the drivers use. Let's see, as Matka rounds the final corner, you might have heard the doorbell go off. That's the 3DPrinting4U delivery that's just come for me. Oh, fantastic. So there we are. We're on track. We've got the Red Bull coming towards turn number 5. Coming out of there is Jay Evans. I think Gav can ride on board with him. We'll see what this lap's looking like at the moment. Just coming over the crest of the Brownie exit of turn 8. Over the top, battery all deployed at the moment. He's got a car running in front of him. Looks to be one of the Alpines. He's going to run off the track though. Will that invalidate his lap from, looks like one of the Alpines? It might be Denmark actually. No, it's not Denmark because he's just spun. So it'll be the other Alpine, Spanel, getting out of the way of him. It's got one more corner to go. I think he actually looks like he's backed out of it there. So let's just see. We'll have a brief lull for a moment just whilst I sort out some settings. I've got a few settings just to double check on my headset. Bear with me one moment. So we're out on track and we're just watching Fake Knudsen having a big spin there through turn one. Very easy to do that. If the cars clip the curb there on the inside, you can see the corners at this circuit aren't particularly challenging. As I say, that Frizzy Prism goes fastest with a 1:16.6. Good lap and good effort from the Haas. But the curves around this track are particularly lethal. They are very low grip. They don't get particularly used much in road racing because of how the track limits are around here. They do get used quite a fair amount in MotoGP, but obviously that's only twice a year when the MotoGP circus runs around here. Dino, though, goes quickest. That is a lap time of 1:16.5. How can Dino take a pole position in Tier 2? I don't believe I've ever seen him take a pole position in Formula 1 for Gavra, but that'd be amazing if he does. So, Frizzy briefly had pole. We're watching Overwatch coming into the first couple of corners. He's got his teammate just in front of him of Matt, so I think they're just working with each other there to give each other a bit of slipstream. Good Williams tactics. Although having said that, no, he is back. He has backed out of the lap, I think, as Overwatch. I think he's charging his battery. So unfortunately, that's not worked out for them. Following Jarno. Around the final corner, here he comes in the Aston Martin. He's not improving, he goes straight to the pit lane. So he's got time, get himself into the pit lane, get a fresh set of soft tyres on, those Pirelli red wall tyres, get those on the car. And that should make him a little bit quicker, hopefully. Hopefully he can do a better lap than what he did earlier. There's certainly the ambition to go slightly quicker, of course. He's not far away from Melo Bello, who's down in 15th. Not far away. Melo Bello has got a tendency in recent seasons to qualify quite low. He does pop up with a really good effort sometimes, but his race pace typically in the AlphaTauri is a lot stronger than his qualifying pace. His teammate currently in the top 10, but everybody in the pits apart from 4 cars. You've got Matt who's coming back into Denmark. Let's see if Gav, if you can hear me there. If we can cut forward to Denmark, he's just approaching. He's in 7th place. He's just approaching turn 13. And hopefully we can go on board with him for a lap of this wonderful track. 4.6 kilometres for the drivers. So it's completely flat around this final corner. Not even something to think about in these cars. And then we go towards turn 1. Hopefully, Shortbread, you can hear the microphone a little bit better. I've got it right next to me now. So towards turn 1, Denmark on the brakes towards this corner. Has to be super committed, and he's invalidated his lap immediately. That is how difficult the track limits are. Hopefully, those that can now hear me, hopefully that sounds a little bit better. I've moved it closer to me. I mean, if I move it any closer, I'll be licking it at this point, to be honest. So do comment, just let me know if that's made any difference at all. Yeah, I know, Jono, I thought so. No, unfortunately, for whatever reason, you know, I've tried fiddling about with the microphone settings. I love how everyone is saying that it's not as good as quality as his normal mic. It's exactly the same microphone, would you believe? But we'll have a look. We'll have a little play about with the settings. We have got less than 3 minutes to go. And I do hope that we can get a grandstand finish here for qualifying. There's certainly a lot of action to be had. So Denmark's going to come towards the start-finish line and go for another lap again. And this time he's on the brakes, down into 5th gear. Takes a bit more curve than what he wanted to, and you saw it correct through that corner. Out of the turn number 4, he's done quite well there, just a little bit slower with the turning than what he would have wanted. Down into turn 5. This looks like a decent lap so far from Denmark, not too shabby. And off the top of the hill. He's going to run out of battery, I think, Denmark, though. So even if he does improve, he's going to be very vulnerable to any improvement in lap time when he comes out the final corner, pretty much. And he isn't improving in any case. Now, this is going to be a difficult time. And sure enough, Denmark has backed out of it, so he's not going to improve on those laps. Money Game up in 2nd place. That's a great effort from him. Everyone else now on and out there. I'm glad I've been able to sort it. It looks a little bit better. Thanks to Mr. Mankin for subscribing as well. Always good to have the support for Gavra. Now, Dino is going to go onto a flying lap. We're following the Alfa Romeo of Fake Knudsen currently. But Dino is the man who's going onto a flying lap time. So hopefully we can ride on board with the McLaren in 1st place. Although, to be fair, I think Gav is preferring to follow Fake Knudsen. Oh, wait, no, there we go. He's decided to change his mind. Dino's invalidated his lap time. Oh, as soon as we try and cut to anybody at the moment, they just keep invalidating their lap times. Frizzy in 3rd place. He is on a flying lap. Time has stopped, so no one can improve. There's going to be a Red Bull coming around the final corner to set a lap time. I think that's going to be Jay Evans. He goes 10. That's as high that he goes. Next car across the line will be an Alfa Romeo. I think it'll be Kobe P. Or rather, it is Fake Nuts who we were following before. Now, is Frizzy making any improvement? Oh, whoa, what a slide out the corner. He's still up on his lap, though. Oh, great car control. We're following Kobe P. He's a little bit further behind. And Overwatch has gone fast as well. That is something. The Williams has struck back. That's a great lap time. He's 4 tenths clear of the rest of the field. Frizzy Prism's now rounding the final corner. DRS wide open. He improves to the 2nd row. It's not going to be good enough for the front row. Let's see to look towards who else. Matka comes across the line. That's an improvement, but no position change. Kobe P doesn't improve. What about Moracom towards the start-finish line? No improvement from him. I think the only other driver who is on a lap, I think, is Jarno. Here he comes. And he goes, well, he goes about the same time, I think, to be honest. It doesn't look like he's improved. So, that is something special. Now, I've got to say, Overwatch, only 2 tenths of a second away from pole position. That was in Tier 1. So that just shows you how quick Overwatch is. And it's 4 tenths back to Dino, who's a competitor in Tier 1. That will be a bit of a wake-up call. So Dino's quest for a pole position goes on. Jarno saying he was going quicker there. Yeah, Jarno, if you'd have followed up with that lap, you might have been in the 8. Well, you probably would, most likely would have been in the 18s, maybe even a 17 in the end. The whole grid separated by 3 seconds, but I imagine the race pace is going to be a lot closer than that. Dino saying, yeah, he messed up his final lap in the comments. That's unfortunate, Dino. But the race is not won in qualifying. It is won naturally in the first race evening. Just for those that don't know, we've got a 35% race coming up. Then we've got 1 shot qualifying, and then we've got a 25% race after that, Tier 2. So that's what we've got forward in a moment. But we've got Overwatch, a Swiss driver, taking pole position. Then you've got Dino, Frizzy Prism, Money Game, Moracom, Kobe P, Denmark, Matka, Spannel, and Jay Evans rounding out the top 10 drivers. JB Surreal, Mikey, Millo, Bello, Fake Nuts, and Sick Boy, Jarno were the last driver to set a lap time. Cable Monkey being disqualified early on. Didn't set a lap time as a result. Overwatch being the first driver, if my knowledge is correct of Swiss F1 drivers, I think the last F1 driver to compete Formula 1 who was Swiss was John Dennis Delatraz. I think. I could be wrong there. I might be right on that if my memory serves me well. There haven't been many Swiss Formula 1. I mean, obviously Peter Sauber was the founder of Sauber, of course, but actually no. Hang on, let me think. Swiss F1 driver in the. That's going to keep me occupied, I think, actually, for a little bit. Buemi was a Swiss driver. I always forget that Buemi was a Swiss. There we go. So, do comment below who you think is going to be the first winner of the season here in Tier 2. Don't forget, we are racing later in Tier 1 at Austria. I will explain why that's the case later. And I will answer Shortbread's question as well when we have a little bit of a lull between the first race and the second qualifying. I'll answer that for you, Shortbread, a little bit about it. So we've got 5 red lights coming up here in Portugal. Who will make the best start? And the race is live. It's a good launch from the front row for Overwatch. He's got a clean getaway, and he's going to be in the lead comfortably towards turn 1. Frizzy Prison, the top 5, all just filtering through. It looks like Kobe P was trying to go through there. Then it's Macca, Spaniel. Oh, there's an Alfa Romeo and a Red Bull round. It looks like, I think, Jay Evans and Fake Nuts have come together. I think one of the Alpines has gone off too. I think that's Denmark. Both Red Bulls in the walls at the start. That's unfortunate. But it is Overwatch leading the way. Dino, Money Game, Frizzy Prison, Mora comes there. Kobe, Spaniel in 7th place. We've got Matt and then Mikey and Jarno up from the back of the grid. What a start for him. Started 16th, he's now in the top 10. He'll be chuffed to pieces with that. And he's on the medium compound tyre as well, so that'll help him out when we go through the race. But just to give you an update on the tyre situation, you've got Dino, the 2 McLarens on the soft tyres, Spaniel also on the soft tyre, and then Cable Monkey and Sick Boy. Only 5 of the 17 have decided to opt for that soft Red Bull Pirelli tyre. Everybody else on the yellow medium. So you can see that the soft tyres of Dino and Money Game already fired up. They're ready to go. They want to get overtaken as soon as possible. And look at this. Dino's right in the wheel tracks of the Williams. Here we go then. This should be a straightforward move. Dino to the inside over the little crest we've got here. He should be in front of Money Game is on the inside too. They're going to go side by side between Overwatch and Money Game. Overwatch probably had the better line and he goes ahead of the McLaren. But Dino runs deep. They're almost side by side, the 3 of them, but that's a nice move from Money Game to go past the pair of them. Well, what a move that was from Money Game. Dino went deep and Money Game decided I'll take the pair here, stop squabbling about. Frizzy Prism is waiting to try and take advantage of this as well. It's a battle in the top 5. There's a little bit of a gap back to Spaniel, who's just overtaken Kobe P for 6th place. Don't rule out Spaniel, someone who always features in these types of races when tyre strategy is quite important around Portimao because of the unique nature of the fast-flowing corners and the difficult braking zones. It puts a lot of wear and load through the tyres. Big wobble from Overwatch coming out of turn number 11. Well held from the Williams. And Money Game is getting on with it. He's showing everybody why he's a former champion of Tier 2. He's nearly a second clear of his McLaren teammate. And this is good points for the McLaren team in the Constructors because this is doing them a whole world of good. And in fact, Overwatch is not changing gear until the last second. So I think he's just going to wait with Dino and then try and go past him with the DRS. So tactics already here in Tier 2. And just say as well, the top 8 drivers have absolutely blasted away from the rest of the field. Mikey's on his own in 9th. And then Milo Bello's got Jarno right behind him. They've swapped places. That's a fight going on there at the moment. But that's a good start. It's a really good opening lap. I think Fake Nutson's been in the pits, sadly, for a new front wing. He's on the hard tyre, so he's got to hope for a safety car, which is not impossible around Portimao, but it does have a decreased likelihood of appearing around Portugal just because of the way that the circuit's quite open in nature in terms of runoff. I mean, outside of turn 4, there's no real close wall to the circuit. It's not to say we can't get one though. OVP at the back of this, well, near to the back of this train. You've got Matka there in 8th place. He's trying to hang on in the Williams. We've got 2 McLarens and 2 Williams in the top 10. So far, so good. Now, good news for Dino. He has managed to get DRS. But that Williams looks very quick in a straight line. He's going to look towards trying to overtake Dino at turn 1, but he isn't quite close enough. Dino gives him room, though. Runs out wide. Can Overwatch commit into turn 4? Or rather, turn 3. He can do. It's going to be on the outside line for this corner. He should have a better run, but watch out for Frizzy. Here we go. It's going to be 3 wide towards turn 5. And Frizzy is on the inside for turn 5 at the hairpin. He should have the line. He might have a bit better traction, does it? Oh, they're still side by side, but Frizzy is going to get the move, and Dino has to slot him behind. What a great bit of driving from Frizzy that was. Very opportunistic. A little bit of a bump in the back from Mora coming to Overwatch there. Got away with it. That was really good opportunist driving from Frizzy. Oh, Fake Nutzen has sadly retired in the pit lane. He'll come back. He's got a 25% race. Fake Nutzen's certainly capable of scoring some points today. But it is Money Game. Getting on with it. He's trying to pull away. Now, Dino will try and attack back at Frizzy. Those soft tyres should be good for a few laps yet. And I'm sure he'll try and want to make that overtake as soon as possible. But having said that, he's put himself in the wrong place, and Overwatch is going to get 2 for the price of 1. And Dino also does overtake Frizzy, so Frizzy goes from 2 to 4. Whoa, that was very odd. That was the back market. That was the ghost of Fake Nuts, and has just caused a whole load of carnage. And I think that's broken Frizzy's front wing. I could be wrong, but Overwatch and Moracom now fighting for 2nd place. And here comes the Aston Martin on the outside line. He goes on through. Doesn't look like there's any. There was a sizable whack that Frizzy had into the back of the Alfa Romeo that had retired, but then its AI had brought it out of the pit lane. That's such a shame. That was shaping up to be a really good fight. It still can be, of course, but the problem is now is that Dino's the one who suffered the most. He's just gone from 3rd to 5th, and Frizzy's gone from 2nd to 4th. Moracom though, big gainer. Ooh, big slide from Frizzy out that corner there. Moracom, the big gainer. All this is doing, though, is promoting a chance for Money Game to pull away. He's now nearly 3 seconds clear because of all the chaos that's going on behind him. We got a spinner. That is an AlphaTauri of JMB Surreal. That's a shame. He was running in the top 10 briefly. He goes round. But Money Game is at the front. But Overwatch is going to try and go past him. Yeah, Dino in the pits. I think broken front wing. Overwatch takes 2nd place. Moracom's there. Frizzy is in 4th. Kobe P is closed up. Spannel has also closed up with Matka. Dino is in the pit lane, getting a new front wing on and going for the hard tyres. That's going to be challenging for him. Now, having said that Money Game was 3 seconds clear, that gap, because the DRS is so powerful around Portimao with that huge straight leading out of turn 15 towards turn 1, you can gain quite a lot of time, and Overwatch had the DRS there, so they could come back to the McLaren just yet. Watching a little bit of a fight further down between Denmark and Melo Bella. That's a good move from the Alpine. He's up to 10. He's got Jarno as the next car in front of him to try and overtake. Jarno himself is about 2.5 seconds behind Mikey, who's having a solid run in the top 10. Back at the fight for 2nd place, and the gap is coming down. Overwatch is really putting the pressure on of Money Game, but the thing is, he's taking the rest of the gang with him because Moracom and Frizzy are within a second. Kobe P, I think, lost DRS. Just going to watch. Yeah, he has done. He has lost a bit of DRS. So Moracom will close the gap to Overwatch, and Overwatch will close the gap to Money Game. This is all going to come back together in the next lap or so, ladies and gentlemen. This has been, it's got the hallmarks of being a very interesting race as Moracom tries to look at the inside. We're watching a fight of DRS, but Moracom is very close to the back of Overwatch for 2nd position. I know that we're following Denmark and Jarno, but I don't know if Denmark is going to be close enough to the Aston Martin towards turn 5? No, he isn't, is the answer to that question. He looks more stronger out of the two drivers. But we're at the front again. And Overwatch, I think this is the clever thing from Moro and Brizzy here, is that let Overwatch do all the heavy lifting, try and close that gap back up to Money Game, and then when you get an opportunity, strike while the iron's hot and get past them when they possibly can. They're all on the alternative strategy. We'll expect Money Game to pit in the next few laps. He'll then get an advantage of having fresh medium tyres, which will be in a much better position than the tyres that Overwatch, Murakam, Brizzy and Kobe P are on. Once they've pitted, though, to go to the softs, that's when tyre advantage will swing back towards Overwatch, Moro and Frizzy, because they'll have the softer, faster compounder tyre. We will expect that in the next 5 or 6 laps, I reckon, to see Money Game come in. But there's a lot of action on circuit. You see the train of cars. Overwatch is really pushing, but he's struggling. And that's allowed Morocom to go through in the Aston Martin. Overwatch is going to try and hang in on the inside. I'm going to follow on board with Frizzy because he'll have the best view. Morocom should have a bit of better traction than the Williams. He's going to be on the inside at turn 7, and he goes through. Good racing between these two. Oh, and another snap of oversteer. Overwatch just looks like he's struggling a little bit with this point of the race. Maybe he's going through a little bit of graining, just not responding the way that he wanted to. Now, can Morocom get DRS here? It'd be so crucial for him to stay in front of the two cars behind him. Let's have a look as he goes round turn 14. The DRS activation line, or rather the detection point, is around 16. I don't think he's close enough, and he isn't. Not quite close enough. I don't think Overwatch is close enough to make an attack going into turn 1. We'll watch it, we'll follow it. And you can see it's just a bit too far back at the present moment. And Frizzy's following him too. Frizzy having a nice four-wheel drift through the corner there because he hit the curve. You've got to be careful of that inside curve at turn 1. Unloads the car, puts a lot of pressure on the tyres and can end up spinning around. Denmark has overtaken Mikey. They're fighting side by side, but Denmark goes through, and I think Mikey's going to try and fight this. And credit where it's due. Ferrari van trying to hold on, but he's not quite there, I don't think. He's got DRS on Denmark. They close that gap down. He's got to look to the inside, but it just shows the nose. Don't think Mikey's with his racecraft. Oh, but I tell you what, Denmark's gone wide. Here we go, a little bit of battery from the Ferrari, and straight back through. Nice racecraft from Mikey to go and overtake him. That's brought Milo Bello into place. This is a free car fight for the last 3 spots in the top 10. These guys don't want to fight too hard because they might bring Jay Evans and Yarno back into this. Good little fight there. Now, Morocom. Is this the first lap? It looks like it will be. This is the first lap that Morocom's had DRS on Money Game. He won't be close enough, but this will just protect him now from Overwatch and Frizzy behind him as we go on to lap 10. So many times in this race I've been so close calling Frizzy dizzy. I'll do my utmost to try and avoid doing that. But these 3 are now becoming a 4. They've got that gap to Money Game, and if they can keep within DRS range, they're going to have a big chance at overhauling him before he makes his pit stop. Mikey and Denmark side by side, and this time Denmark gets the move done before they get to turn 4. That'll be one for me to keep an eye out on, though. But loads of fights all over, so really, really good racing here in Tier 2 so far. We're coming up to the halfway mark of the race. That gap between Money Game. Those soft tyres are just starting to struggle. The compounds, you know, the mediums won't be at their best, but they'll certainly be a lot more positive than the tyres that Money Game is using at the moment. Money Game will be really having difficulties to keep the performance in the tyre. And in theory, the mediums will now be quicker at this point of the race. But this top 4 looking very impressive. KVP further back. He's just taking Matka with him. Spanel's not too far away, so there's a couple of fights going on around the track, actually. That sort of groups of 4, groups of 3. Now, Money Game's into the pits. Now, that is a telling sign. Into the pits. Oh, and he's got a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Oh, now that will be a factor later on in this race. Let's see where he comes out. really great racing at the moment from everybody. Really good to watch. Spannel also in the pit, so we're assuming that the soft tyres can do 10 laps at the moment, and Money Game's going to come out in, looks like just in between Jay Evans and Yarno, and he comes out about 23 and a half seconds behind our race leader, which is Moricon. Now this is telling. I'll keep an eye on that gap. But Money Game will have better tyres to use at this point in the race. So let's see if he can try and bring that gap down to the race leaders, this trio at the front. This is really, really good battles all over the circuit. There's a lot of intrigue. Anybody could win this race from the three that we're following at the moment and Money Game. But Money Game, of course, is going to have to try and get past Jay Evans as soon as possible. We got onto lap 11 that we're on currently. In fact, Money Game has just gone past Jay Evans. And Overwatch is going to look for this move. He wants to get past the Aston Martin. Here we go. A little bit of battery usage for the Williams as he uses DRS. He goes straight through and into the lead of the race once again. Ooh, a little bit wide from Moricom. He might pick up a warning for that. That's one thing to be wary of around here. Is that the track limit penalties can be quite tough. And I've seen both Frizzy and Moricom run foul of the track limits so far. And Yarno has sadly retired from the session. We don't know what's gone on to Yarno, but he's out of the session. He's pretending in the pits, unfortunately. That is a shame. There's a bit of intrigue going on here in Portimao. The top three are all trying to work together to pull away from Money Game, but Money Game is carving these cars open here. He's into 8th place. He's just got past Melo Bello. Mikey will be next on his list. And the gap, he's already taken nearly 2 seconds out of the leading trio. So it's just showing you how good those medium tyres are at this point in the race. Nobody decided to pit from the front three. Maybe on the next lap we'll see a pit stop. And Money Game up to 7th place. He gets past Mikey. Now Mikey will be wise here to just sit behind the McLaren. In fact, Mikey's going into the pit, so he's decided to go and do the undercut compared to the drivers around him. So Money Game's got a couple of seconds before he catches up to the back of Denmark. So let's see if he makes any more progress. Mapka looking to make a move on Kobe P for 4th place in the meantime. That's a nice clean move. Kobe P just gives him the room. These two are going to be in a fight to the end of the race. They're on their own pretty much. They don't have anyone around them. Now Moricom's just got to keep this DRS here. He's got to stay within a second of Overwatch. The tactics will be starting now. That tactical fight in terms of who is going to pit and when. And the undercut is going to be very powerful around here. But the overcut could also work with these soft tyres because of how long they'll last. And Kobe P's back past Mapka. That's a good overtake. Yes, they're all, wow, I say they're all coming in. Overwatch and Moricom are into the pit lane. Our two race leaders go into the pits. Frizzy takes over the lead of this race then. Kobe P goes in, Mapka carries on. So there's another close, oh, Kobe P picks up a 5-second time penalty. That might be the end of that. Now Money Game is certainly going to come out in front of the cars who were in the lead of this race. There he goes down the pit lane. And I'm just watching Overwatch. He's not on the throttle yet. He now gets on the power, but he's lost a few seconds. He's got Moricom with him. Oh, Milo Bello has rejoined right behind these two, but I think Melo's going to stay behind. They now have to try and make up 4 seconds on Money Game to overtake him on track. Who are your bets on, ladies and gentlemen? Who will be in the best position? That's Mikey going past Denmark as he bunny hops over the... Mikey and Denmark have been having a good few fights already today. Mikey goes back on through. Denmark had just pitted and Mikey taking advantage of that. Mikey actually bunny hopped over the curb to see that. That was an interesting overtake. So, Overwatch and Morocom running in 4th and 5th place. They've got the better tyres, and Frizzy is now in the pit lane as well. So, Frizzy into the pits on those medium tyres. He'll go for the softs. He'll definitely come out behind Money Game, Overwatch, and Morocom. And Matka picks up a 5-second time penalty, and the battle between himself and Kobe P is back on. So, Money Game will lead the race on the medium tyres. Frizzy is coming down the pit lane now. He's getting on the power. He's going to come out behind Morocom though. And there he is. Out of the pit. But they're all close together and they're all going to be closing that gap down to Money Game. They have the better tyres. We expect them to be about a second a lap quicker. And I'll tell you somebody else who's made some gains. I've mentioned this so many times about him over the last few seasons. Great effort from J. Evans, by the way. Fastest lap of the race there. I've mentioned this over the last few seasons. I've been commentating on Gavra. Spannel up to 5th. Nobody's seen it, nobody's heard it, but he's just quietly gone about his business. He's running on a different strategy. Kobe P behind him's got 8 seconds worth of time penalties. Spannel could be on for a top 5. And he's up from 9th place, so Spannel putting all of his expertise to good use. Now, Morocom and Overwatch are very close together. This is really, really intense, this fight. It's got the hallmarks of being a grandstand finish, providing nobody picks up any track limits penalties. Frizzy is doing everything he can to try and close the gap down to them so that he has the RS as well. Morocom, though, will have the first chance to try and overtake the Williams in front of him. He set a new fastest lap of the race, 13.5. He's going to be on the inside towards turn 1, and Overwatch knew it was coming, let him through. Best for those two to work together. How close do you want to get to the back of the Aston Martin, Overwatch? But that is the point. These two will want to work together. I was about to say to work together to pull away from Frizzy Prism. That is not happening. Frizzy is within DRS. So these three will now try and fight to see who can get up to the back of Money Game, leapfrog him, and try and put a buffer between themselves and medium shod McLaren. Because if anybody overtakes Money Game during the lap, they'll have enough time to pull away from the McLaren and get away without having to worry about DRS. Mikey in Denmark still fighting, by the way, for 9th places. That's been raging on for a few laps, and J. Evans has joined them now. It's a really good fight between these guys further back. I'm having a really good time watching them further back. Denmark and Mikey just seem to be overtaking each other whenever the other one makes a mistake. But these two are having a good time. It's been providing a lot of action for me to watch in the background. But at the front, this is Overwatch making a move on Morocom for 2nd place. Frizzy, a new fastest lap of the race. Forget about a 1:18.5 from Morocom. How about that? A 1:18.1 from Frizzy. That's incredible. And the 4 are back together again on circuit. They all have no more pit stops to make. This is a shootout to the end of the race. Frizzy, though, looking at the inside of Morocom. And Moro, I think he's going to let him go. But having said that, yeah, he is going to let him go. I was going to say, I think Morocom knows there's no point in fighting. Keep up with the guys in front for now. We are on lap 17. And we are roughly 3/4 of the way through this race. Ooh, Morocom right on the rear right tyre of the Haas there. I fear, though, that not only does Money Game have the time penalty, but the tyres are just not going to be working for him at this point of the race. And those guys behind, these 3 soft tyre drivers, are all going to be so much faster. So Overwatch will be the first one to try and overtake him towards turn 1. He'll have right in the slipstream. You can see that McLaren is harvesting energy, hasn't got enough left to fight, and Overwatch is going to go through for the race lead. Frizzy Prism isn't going to be close enough. Now this is vital. Overwatch, if Money Game stays in front of these two behind him, Overwatch can use those tyres to pull away. Because no doubt that Williams is quicker than the McLaren at the minute. But having said that, Money Game does not want to give this up at all. Oh, he runs into the back of the Williams, actually. That was certainly not intentional, of course. But he does make sure he doesn't gain an advantage. But these four all together on circuit, this is really great racing. Mikey, and meanwhile, in the fight for 9th place, Mikey, Denmark and Jay Evans are all fighting hard. I'm cutting between the fight for the top 4 and the last spots in the points. It's absolutely brilliant to watch on circuit. Oh, big slide from Mikey on the exit turn 5. He gets away with it. At the front, though, we're going to go round for DRS one more time. Moricon was looking at the move there, didn't quite pull that one off. Overwatch is just still within DRS. And that's going to allow Money Game an opportunity to stay in this fight. But I don't think Frizzy wants anything to do with Money Game. He's trying to go past the McLaren. It looks like he's going to have enough to go through, and he does indeed. Oh, Overwatch, huge slide. Big save. Big slave. What a save from Overwatch. He's lost all the time he'd gained. Another big slide from Frizzy this time. Look how hard they're trying. They're absolutely stretching the boundaries of their abilities here. Mikey gets overtaken by Denmark. I'm just watching these fights, by the way, on circuit. We're obviously just following the lead battle at the current moment. This is really, really top racecraft from the drivers. If this is what race 1's been like, let's have a look at what race 2 is going to be like in a moment. Money Game struggling to stay within DRS. If he loses it, which he's done, Moricon should be able to fire on by. I think that this fight now is going to be between the 3 soft tyre runners. And Frizzy is in the wheel tracks. He's in the slipstream of the Williams. Round turn 15 we go for the 19th time of asking. He's going to be right there. This should be a straightforward enough overtake for Frizzy. With the DRS wide open, he's going to slide on through into the lead of the race, and that's a great move. And Moricon does exactly the same thing on Money Game. And Moricon now will be hoping that these two ahead of him will just fight a little bit hard, so he gets a chance to go back at the two of them. You see Money Game trying to have an overtake. I tell you what, Money Game is really strong in the first sector. He just can't. I don't think he's got the tyres really to overtake the Aston Martin through the middle sector, and that's why he's struggling so much. And that grip is still with the soft tyre runners. It's only in the next lap or two, I think, where they're going to struggle. But Frizzy in the lead of the race. Overwatch is there. Moricon is not within a second. And he's not really pulled away from Money Game just yet. Still got a few corners before we get to the DRS zone. Kobe P, meanwhile, further back, you've got Jay Evans. And Dino's picked up the time penalty, so that's not ideal. But this is once again proven to be an excellent fight on circuit. But Overwatch is going to have the DRS again. He's going to close this gap down. We go on to the third to last lap, lap 21 of the race. Overwatch won't be close enough. And he'll just sit in behind before we go to turn 1. But there we are. Here we are with just a few laps remaining. Been a fabulous race. I'm just going to double check something. Bear with me one moment. We'll catch up with the action in a moment. So, there we are then. We've got Overwatch right there with Frizzy at the moment. This is a very, very close fight. Moricon just can't get within the DRS range that he needs to. He realistically needs Frizzy and Overwatch to fight. But I don't know if Overwatch has got the tyres. Frizzy looks like he's got the legs on him. I think that extra lap of staying out for longer has really benefited the Haps. Just seems he's got a bit more tyre performance available to him in the final sector. He's going to be comfortably clear again heading towards turn 1. Doesn't need to defend. Moricom's not close enough. Mikey's picked up a time penalty. That's an important thing for the fight at the last spot of the points. But Overwatch is there. Moricom is also there. Money Game, credit where credit's due for Money Game. He's putting in a really good shift. It's a shame about his penalty, but he can't quite make that gap up at the moment. Evans takes Denmark for 9th place. Mikey's just fallen a bit by the wayside, but to be fair to Mikey, he's only got 3 seconds time penalty. Jay Evans has 6, so could come back to Mikey for some points. But this is 1 lap and a bit remaining. And there are so many plot lines across this race so far that it could all build up to a grandstand finish for the battle for the race victory, the battle to remain in the top 10. Who is going to take it? We go on to the final lap of the race. Here we go, across the line. Frizzy is going to be comfortably clear of Overwatch. Moricom is not a factor anymore. He can't make it. Looking at the Alpine fights of Jay Evans and Denmark. Hopefully Gav stays on board with he hasn't. He's put forward. Never mind. We're following. In fact, Frizzy's almost broke 1 second there. But Overwatch is going to give it absolutely everything on this final lap. It just looks as if Overwatch just hasn't got the tyre left. I think he's hit the peak moment of the tyre. And fair credit to Frizzy. He's putting in a really good drive here. He's really, really driving well in the Haas. I've got to say, I've been really impressed with him today. And that's that. He's broken the DRS. More drivers picking up time penalties. But this is going to be a first victory for Frizzy, man. Frizzy Prism 5. With a dash between the name. He's got 2 corners to go. He just needs to take his time through here. He should be perfectly fine. He is indeed. Frizzy Prism then rounds the final corner for the first race of the evening. It's a victory for the Haas team and for Frizzy. Well done, Frizzy. Great result. Overwatch is second, Moricom third, only just from Money Game, who takes his 5-second penalty, but that shouldn't be a problem. He'll stay fourth. Kobe Pete, he's got quite a few penalties as Kobe. He will not finish in 5th place. I believe that's going to go to Spannel, and it does indeed. So Spannel takes 5th, Kobe P 6th. Dino ends up 7th. That's a great recovery from Dino. Matka in 8th. I think Denmark is going to finish in 9th because of the penalties to Jay Evans. And if I'm right in saying, let's see, this is going to be oh so close between Jay Evans and Mikey. But Jay Evans snatches that point in the end. And everyone else serving their time penalties. That was really, really awesome to watch. Well, there we are. That is the first race of the evening, run and done. Drivers, they're going to Frizzy, and I'm not surprised at all at that. That was a really great drive, and even the game recognising that was some performance from Frizzy. And there we are. A race victory for Frizzy. His first of the season and fastest lap of the race. The British driver takes the victory. It's Overwatch in 2nd, Moricom in 3rd, Money Game 4th, with Spannel round out the top 5, putting in another quiet shift once again from the Czech driver. Kirby Pete, Dino, Matka, Denmark and Jay Evans hold on for the last points. Positions, Mikey unlucky in the end, finishing outside of the top 10. JB Surreal and Milo Bello with Cable Monkey, and Sick Boy being your finishing drivers. Jarno sadly suffering with what believes to be some understeer, so he had to retire the car. Fake Knuckson also retiring as well. Pushadino saying, what happened at the first lap? So I broke my wing. Yeah, so what happened for Pushadino, for his benefit, because he's listening right now? What the Alfa Romeo of fake Knudsen had retired in the pit lane, but this Ghost had come out on track and it just sort of slowed down in the middle of turn one, caused Overwatch to break, and then everyone ended up piling into the back of him. So that was such a shame. Sim Freedom saying, I'm sweating, I'm not used to league racing. Well, welcome to you, Sim Freedom. I don't know who you are because that doesn't match your F1 title. But welcome to League Racing with Gavra. It's always a fun time. Well, that was really great to watch. We're going to give ourselves a little bit of a breather for a moment. And we will go into the second race where we'll have a one-shot quali that will set the grid for a 25% race in a moment. Underway. Lots of good fights out on circuit this evening. It's been really good to watch. And I'm excited to see how the drivers react to a 25% race. We've got completely clear skies for qualifying, so no issues about the weather. And the drivers will be focusing on getting their setups now all sorted. And good to see a couple more people commentating. Good to see you, Jordan, JPH99. Good to have you here with Gav. And you're right, it was a good battle for Mikey. Shame he missed out on points, but second race coming up, there's still a chance for him. I'm sure Tifosi will go home happy if he could score a point, considering his teammate isn't here tonight. But there we are. So rounds 1 and 2, the second round. Qualifying about at Portimao, round this turn number 15. We go. And over the start-finish line towards turn 1. So no point in me saying too much at the moment. I will just briefly say, though, next week for Tier 2, we'll be heading off to Austria, which I'm sure will be a track full of DRS trains, I'm sure. Lots of chances for drivers to be overtaking each other there. Let's look towards turn 5. That's where the first sector beam is. And Frizzy is currently leading the way. Matka on a very good lap so far is the Aston Martin, or rather the Williams. Matka was having a good fight for the top 5 earlier. Frizzy took the lead on the exit of turn 2 and just hasn't looked back since he got in front. Overwatch is now moving himself up there. Money Game and Moricom flitting around. And the order between the top 9, 10 drivers has changed all the time. Big slide from Frizzy. Fake Knudsen's binned it. And Overwatch has got in front. So Overwatch trying to strike back. He wants a race win. And he wants a pole position again. He was on pole by half a second before. But this is going to be so close between Overwatch and Frizzy. They're neck and neck towards the final dash for the line. And Frizzy gets it. A 1:16.4. 600ths of a second between the two. But Frizzy takes away a pole position that Overwatch would have desperately wanted. Let's have a look at this running order. We've got Frizzy on pole, Overwatch second. Then there's a 3/10 gap back to Dino. Morocom in fourth with Money Game in the top 5. Then it's Maka. The top 6 separate by half a second. Then there's another 4/10 gap back to Kobe P in 7th. Denmark is in 8th. Span on 9th. Mikey rounds out the top 10. Cable Monkey and Sick Boy, the only 2 drivers to set a lap time after that. We have JMB Surreal. I think he's just left actually as JMB Surreal, so I hope he's not disconnected. Fake Nupson retired from the session or didn't finish the session, one of the 2. Milo Bello and Yarno falling foul of track limit, so their laps disqualified. So we go preparing the drivers once again for the second race even. It's a 25% race, so it won't be 23 laps this time around. Typically 66 laps, I believe, a quarter now, typically, so a quarter of that. So I reckon we'll have either 16 or 17 laps. Probably 17 laps, I believe, for this race. Very quick circuit. And Gav's saying the same thing that I was about to say. It does look like it's overcast. Are we going to have some rain later in the race? That would be... It wouldn't be a Gavra weekend league race without rain, would it? But we've got the 5 red lights about to come on. It's the Williams and the Haas on the front row. And the race is live here from Overwatch. Once again, they're going to be side by side towards turn 1. Prism and Overwatch together in the circuit. Dino's trying to go through as well. A little bit of conflict between the Dino is on the inside, using those soft tyres to good effect. Money Game's gone into the back of Frizzy, who keeps it in a straight line, fortunately. Matka and Morocom fighting hard. Matka with a good qualifying session. That's the Ferrari round of Mikey. He's been caught out. Not sure what's gone on, but sadly he's gone backwards. So it's Overwatch who leads. It's Dino in second, who's got those soft tyres on. Now he's going to want to get on with it if Dino can try and pull away. We know though that Overwatch can be dethroned at times. It can be susceptible to a few issues. Com goes back past Matka. These two fighting very hard over the top of the hill. KVP right there. Spanel also on the soft tyres. 3 drivers in the top 10 on the soft. That's Dino, Spanel and Fake Nuts and Miller Bello outside the top 10, but he's on the soft tyres. Has just been hit by a teammate actually, further down the grid. But they carry on, so Overwatch is in the lead. Now he'll be conscious of Dino behind him. He doesn't want to have Dino too close to the back of him. I don't think Dino is going to allow him to do that. Money Game is also closing that gap down to Frizzy. Side by side towards turn 1, but I don't think he's going to be close enough, and he doesn't have the slipstream that Frizzy had. Now most of the grid on the mediums. Oh, Money Game's going to try and... Oh, a little bit of contact into turn 3. He's going to try and go all the way around the outside of turn 4. I don't think Frizzy will be happy about that. It was a good move around turn 4, but I don't think he'll be happy about the contact, Frizzy. Ooh, Morocom just diving into the corner. I thought him and Frizzy were going to connect then through the corner. Lots of action on circuit already in these opening few laps. I'm keeping an eye out for the weather to see if there are any changes. There's some strategies for you between lap 8 and lap 16. Apparently the soft tyres can go to, so that's a huge amount of range for the soft tyres to use. I imagine the drivers won't go all the way to lap 16 though, unless a rain shower comes at the end. Medium tyres though, you'd expect them to try and last as long as they can. so far completely dry here. And the top two have got away. Dino has gone with Overwatch, and they're over a second clear. The drag reduction system enabled on this lap. Frizzy and Moracom right with Money Game, and they need to work together now to close that gap to the two in front. And Dino will want to go in front of these guys. Dino will want to go in front. He'll want to lead by example if he can. He'll have the rear wing wide open towards turn 5. We won't be close enough yet, though. But also trying to stay within a second of the leading 5 drivers. Cody P, Spannel, Denmark, and Fake Nuts around out the top 10. Did I see a little bit of rain then? Could be wrong, but unless it was a visual glitch, I'm fairly certain I just saw a very tiny drop of rain. I'm watching very closely. I do apologise if I go a little bit quiet. I'm just watching to see if there's any rain at all on the T-cam of the drivers. Can't see anything just yet. I could be wrong, but we're on lap 3. Dino, he's got the tyres to keep up with Overwatch, but he's not close enough on it to lead to make an overtake. What about Frizzy with Money Game? Money Game actually shaping up, going defensive, moves back towards the racing line. Can only move once. Oh, Frizzy again getting the tail out there at the exit at turn 3. Over the brow at turn 4. Money Game again puts a defensive shape on. Matko's trying to stay with this group, but I think it's looking more and more difficult now for him. Not to say he can't do it, he certainly can. Money Game's now 2 seconds behind, and Frizzy and Morocom look like they're quicker than Money Game at this point in the race. We will know in the next few corners whether they can get past Money Game, because he just looks to be a little bit of a cork in the bottle. Dino is still keeping on the back of Overwatch. I know that they're on different tyres, but this is helping Dino's race. You know, Dino, it's not out of the question that Dino could try and take on another set of softs if he wanted to. It would be, there you go, Frizzy's gone past Money Game for 3rd place. I was just watching because Dino, that was the closest he got to the back of Overwatch then. But Frizzy is in front now. He's got to work to get up to the back of Dino and Overwatch. He's got to hope that Dino's got the tyres to fight Overwatch in the next few laps. The whole field all quite close together at the moment. So I know that he had that, but he's not far away. Any rain does come. If the rain does come, it can certainly close the field altogether again. Frizzy has started to work that gap down. Look at it, it's coming down corner by corner. Now Dino, admittedly, did lose a bit of time to the Williams of Overwatch in front of him, but this is the key thing. It doesn't matter if Dino loses a little bit of time, he can use DRS to close that gap right back up to the Williams again. And he'll have it on this lap. And they can almost works for Frizzy's advantage, because the closer he gets, easier it'll be for him to gain DRS. Now, what's the rear wing go over for Dino? I know he's outside of a second, but he did have DRS there. He's got to maintain it now. He has to try and keep fighting back, because otherwise he's going to be in a spot of bother, I reckon. Kobe P and Matka swapping places. That looked like it'd been on for a while. And Dino still keeps hold of the DRS, but it's very precarious. Money Game has found form in these last few laps whilst we were talking. He's up the inside and through on the Haas of Frizzy. Lots of battles are on the circuit at the moment. There's a nice fight back for 12th place as well, to be honest. We're watching everybody further upfield, but there's lots going on. Dino has lost DRS. Lap 6 of the race. Are those soft tyres just starting to struggle a little bit compared to the mediums? Not to say they don't have any performance in them, they do, but their balance of performance will be equalised between the two drivers now. I don't think he has the same tyre grip that he had before. Maybe it was a little glitch that I had on my screen. Never know, we might have rain later on, but it certainly looks a little bit more ominous than it did at the start of the race. Frizzy closing the gap down to Money Game, but he's just going to slot him behind the McLaren. No point in trying to risk a move that'll take them both out. So far then, so good. Further back, you've got Cable Monkey and Yarno together out on track. Was Fake Nuts in lead in that queue? Miller Bellows in the pits. Yarno with a Y running in 12th place. There's the Alfa Romeo, Kobe P. Just trying to get a second clear of Matka now. Looks like he would have done it, but he had a huge moment on the exit of turn 8, and that's just cost him 3 or 4 attempts. Now, Money Game will be tasked with the responsibility of closing the gap to Dino. Both of them in the McLaren. There will be no funny business between the two, even though Money Game is a stand-in for this evening. He knows how important it is to bank points for McLaren, and he won't want to try and lunge up the inside of his teammate without asking. And that's Dino in the pits. So Dino, that's quite early. So I think Dino is going to try the mediums, and he will fall down the order. He'll fall quite far down the order as well. Frizzy goes on through into second place, past Money Game. And that's a position swap between them. Denmark also fighting with Spannel. In fact, those guys from 5th to 9th, or rather 5th to 8th, have closed each other's gaps up there. So that could be brewing for a few laps. Dino comes out of the pits behind Mikey in 14th place. So take him a couple of corners to get those tyres fired up. Yarno has gone for softs. Not a daft decision at all. Now this part of the circuit looks a little bit lighter than the rest of the track. Will we not have any rain at all then? That would be somewhat of a disappointment. But the gap between Overwatch and Frizzy is 3 seconds at the moment. So even if Frizzy decides to undercut Overwatch, won't matter because Frizzy won't be close enough. I don't believe he'd be close enough to undercut the Williams. And he's got to be careful anyway because he has the McLaren of Money Game right with him. Just looking to see if anybody does pit. No, they don't. They carry on the mediums. And Money Game goes right back on through past the Haas of Frizzy into second place. Matka is in the pits too. But these three are very close together. And I think these three will be keeping it in mind that no daft battles. They can't afford to because Overwatch is 3 seconds clear. If they just use one another, use the DRS each lap and go past one another, they could set the pace lap after lap. 3.2 seconds is the gap between Money Game and Overwatch. This is finally poised. Interesting watching the different lines of the drivers through Portimao corner at turn 10 and 11. All 4 of them using slightly different lines. Yarno Truly's picked up a time penalty. I will refer to him every now and then as Yarno Truly, I guarantee that. But Moracom looking like he wants to try and fight here. Looks like he wants to try and make an overtake. And the 3 of them are into the pit lane. Wow, Frizzy was so late on the brakes. Now, VFR Overwatch has to push. He has to push hard now. He can't afford to be dawdling about on his out on what could be a potential in-lap because these guys are going to be absolutely flying on their soft tyres. Once they get them up to temperature, Frizzy gets out, well, level with Money Game, but Money Game will phase in front of him. Where are they going to come out related to Dino? Dino's ahead of them. So similar to the last race where Money Game came out in front of everybody on the medium tyres, Dino is out in front of Money Game. Now that's something to keep an eye out on. Looking at the gap between Dino and Overwatch, it's 25 seconds. If Dino takes a second or maybe even a second and a half on this lap from Overwatch, he will go on through. Chuckbread also mentioned about Yarmo up there. That's very true. But I prefer Truly to up there, to be honest. So we have Overwatch in the lead. We have Spannel in second place, who's yet to pit, of course. Then it's the McLaren of Dino, who's got about a second and a half to the guys behind. Mikey running in seventh place. Not yet pitted. Now, here we go then. Overwatch is in the pit lane. Where is Dino relating to him? This is a crucial fight on circuit, this. Overwatch is trundling down the pit lane at about 50 miles an hour into the pits, into his pit box he goes. New set of soft Pirelli tyres on, and away he goes. A sub 3-second pit stop from the pit mechanic team. He's going to get up to speed. Now is the Williams. Where is Dino? He's right there with him. This isn't over. He might be in front of Overwatch, but he's going to have the overspeed. Those tyres need a couple of corners to get up to temperature. And Dino will have one chance to try and blast on through. And if he's going to do it, he's got to have to do it towards turn 5. And he knows it. He's looking towards the inside of turn 5, but he isn't close. And this is the key thing. The other drivers are within a second. So Overwatch's 3-second advantage has gone. It's been completely wiped out. Money Game, Frizzy and Morocom, they're all together. Dino is going to find this really hard to try and keep up with Overwatch. Those soft tyres are going to work so well. Realistically, Cable Monkey's gone off at turn 1. That's not a safety car. It's come back on track as the AI. Dino needs to stay within DRS. But the problem is that if he does, on the next... Yeah, there we go. The time has ticked over to a second. So Dino's lost DRS. Money Game has to get by his teammate now. There's no question about it. He's going to go around. Well, he's going to go around the outside of turn 15. It's unorthodox, but he's already going to go through before we get to the start-finish line. Now it goes open, but Frizzy doesn't care about them, and he sandwich and into second place. Now that was a big moment for Frizzy Prism to go blasting on past the pair, and that was great. Money Game got kind of stuck behind Dino, but because he went round the outside at turn 15, it just meant, thank you very much, gentlemen, you two are slower than me. And he breezed on through, and Frizzy has looked so quick tonight, he might be able to bring that gap down to Overwatch to within DRS range. He's working on it now. Money Game's going to go with them. Morocom also now. One thing that Morocom struggled with before is as soon as he lost the DRS, he couldn't close the gap. He needs to stay with Dino and actually, to be honest with you, get past Dino. But Money Game's just lost the DRS. Wow, this is all set up to be a fabulous end to this race. Frizzy, though, just loses the DRS on that lap. Money Game's back within it. Dino's within it. But he's got Morocom in his slipstream. And the Aston Martin, I reckon, should be moving on through. Even though Dino will have DRS, he doesn't have the better tyres. Morocom's got a better run to turn 1. And through goes the Aston Martin. Oh, big slide. Big twitch from the Aston. He saves it. Oh, that could have been a big opportunity lost from Morocom. Now he's got to work again to catch up to the back of Money Game. It's not impossible, but he's got to use those tyres. Really, he's going to have to work. He's got to find 3 temps on this lap, realistically. If he doesn't, he's going to be in the same boat as he was in the last race. There's a yellow flag out there. That's an Alfa Romeo around of fake Knudsen. He's struggling to get back on circuit, is the Alpha. And Mikey dispatched. These guys don't have to worry about penalties in the top 5. They've all been very clean so far. looking to see the fastest lap of this race has gone the way of Frizzy on a 17.8. Sick boy picks up a time penalty. So Frizzy's going to get the extra point for fastest lap. Money Game's closing the advantage down. Morocom, I think, is going to struggle to get back into DRS here. Similar to what he had before. Once you lose DRS around here, you lose quite a lot of time. If you can't make up the time in the middle sector, that's it pretty much. I think sadly for Morocom, just not going to be close enough. So, lap number 14. 3 laps after this one. The race is still finely balanced. Overwatch cannot afford to relax in second place, rather in the first place, because second place driver Frizzy is really striving hard to catch the Williams. The gap is it's just hovering so close, about 0.2 of a second. Money Game's got to be careful because he can't afford to lose the DRS because Frizzy will be gone. I think Frizzy's trying to break that to him. In fact, that's what he's done. Across the time beam. Oh, that was so close. Money Game did get DRS, so he hangs on for another lap, does the McLaren. The thing is, if Frizzy gets within a second and Money Game's there, it'll just close the 3 of them up. We do have 3 laps to go. This is it now. For the drivers, if they want to take a race victory for Frizzy and Money Game, they've got to try and find 0.3 of a second to Overwatch. They look like they could be quick enough to do it, but Overwatch is doing his utmost at the front. There's been other fights on circuit. Denmark and Matka have been fighting. Dino's still within a second of Morocom, actually, so that fight's not over yet. I think Money Game might have just been dropped, though. Yellow flat. Oh, Mikey spun round. Just clipped the curve at turn 1. He is going to finish, I think, 15th, which is the lap that we're on. I don't think Frizzy, try as he might. Oh, he's having a few wobbles. And that might have just killed the fight off. 1.8, that gap is swelling. 1.9, it'll probably go to 2 seconds. It does. And that kick of oversteer really cost the Hatch driver, and Overwatch has just 2 laps remaining. Just 9 and a bit kilometres to go before his race victory is confirmed, his first of the season. Dino is putting the pressure on. I think these soft tyres are going to be struggling here. Because Dino is really hounding Morocom. I know that we're at a 25% race, but the wear of the soft tyres is a little bit quicker than the 35% race, obviously, to match the inflation of tyre competitiveness. And Dino is right with Morocom. This could be a fight for the 4th spot. We'll see if we catch up with that. Further back, Denmark and Matka still fighting hard. Well, Overwatch, I think Frizzy is going to concede on this one. He's got the fastest lap point, so will come, if he finishes where he is, he'll come out in the lead of the Drivers' Championship standings after round 1, will Frizzy. Rounds turn 15 for the penultimate time, and Overwatch crosses the line to start the final lap of the race. 2.5 seconds between himself and Frizzy. Money Game there in 3rd. Dino, this is his chance. He's close to Morocom. He's going to have to try and make a lunge into turn 1. He is going to go for good racecraft between the two, but Morocom has the speed. He'll have another chance. The McLaren right in the wheel tracks of Morocom, who runs deep in turn 3. That'll put him offline for turn 4. Dino is trying every bit of experience he's got. He's going to have to go to the outside line of turn 5. He's going to go around the outside. Can he get the traction he needs to get off the corner? He's really pushing, but Morocom defends again. Dino is trying. He's going to look for a move at turn number 8. Wow, fantastic racing between these two. But Morocom will have the traction at this corner. Then he's going to be on the inside at turn 10. This is it, surely this time around. He is in front. This isn't over. Moricon will try and get DRS as Fake Nuts is disqualified from the session. That's an interesting thing. Oh, Eno having a big snap of oversteer. I'm going to cut forward. Well done to Overwatch. That has been a fabulous effort from the Williams. He's done it again like he did in the pre-season event race. Frizzy second, Money Game third. It's going to be towards the line. Morocon's going to have the DRS as they go to... Who holds on to fourth place. That was a great fight in the end. Denmark will take sixth place. Matka takes seventh. Kobe copping another penalty. Spannel a good haul of points in ninth. JB Surreal is going to score points in 10th, which is good to see. What a fight that was, though, between Tino and Morocom on the final. That really good to see. Credit where it's due to Overwatch and Frizzy Prism. Those two had great drives today, both race winners. We'll try and have a chat with our drivers, of course. Hopefully we'll be able to tune in for the interviews, which will be coming up in a few moments' time. Kobe saying pit entry got him twice. Yeah, it did. I think the key thing there, Kobe, for you is to brake a little bit earlier next time. But that was really wonderful to watch from the drivers. It's Overwatch celebrating, though. The Swiss driver has got a victory for his native country. He'll be chuffed to pieces. Hopefully we can have a chat with a couple of the drivers. But it is Overwatch with the win. It's Frizzy in second place. It's Money Game in third, getting a podium. Dino fights back to fourth. And Morocom takes the last spot in the top five. Denmark in sixth with Matka seventh. Kobe P, Spannel and JMB Surreal rounding out the points. Yarno Truly in 11th place. Sick Boy 12th. Milo Bello 13th. And Mikey, the last race finisher, in 14th. We had Cable Monkey retire from the race and Fake Nutson disqualified. So a poor opening start to the season. Fake Nutson just hasn't gone quite the way he would have wanted. The drivers out there celebrating. So we're going to go into the interview shortly. Before we do that, I'm really looking forward. If you're watching right now, Tier 1 will be racing later on at 8 PM British Standard Time. An hour and a half from now, they'll be racing around Austria for their rounds 3 and 4 of the season. The reason why that is because of how the calendars work for this season. It's a little bit different from usual. But let's hope that anybody does. Typically, this is the first interview session I'll have done without Steps for what feels like all my life, realistically. It's always lovely to talk to Steps. Well, we do hope that the drivers do join in. Cable Monkey retiring from the race in the end due to family commitments, so that's why he was out. So we'll just wait for a few moments. We'll have a chat with the drivers who join in shortly. We did briefly have Matka join us, and then he left. So I'm not really sure what happened then.
Overwatch sadly saying he can't make the can't join in, sadly. That is a shame. But it does give me the chance to just talk about the calendar, because obviously for this season we come towards the end of the Formula One real life season, and that clashes with the Gavra race times. Obviously, with us all being huge Formula One fans, I want to make sure that everybody has a chance to watch the Grand Prix. So next week, Tier 2 will be racing in Austria, then they'll be off to Saudi, and there's a week break because of the real life F1 event happening. But then we won't see Tier 1 race after tonight for 2 weeks. So the calendar's just sort of a bit of a flip-flop between Tier 1 and Tier 2. They do come back together, though, in the end. I'm delighted to say, though, Matka has joined us. Matka, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, fantastic. So...
yeah, I'm used to all this, you see. I've never really... I just see it, I just want to checking it out, see what's up to, like, see what it's like.
Yeah, I can understand that. But let's crack on with the interview, ask you a couple of questions, because you had some good fights today, battling around the top 6, top 7 area. How did you feel about that?
Well, I'm glad that track's out the way, because I was dreading it, because I don't know why, I just never got on with Portugal. But yeah, I tried to stay clean out of everyone's way. No. But the thing is, on the first race, I got a blue 5-second penalty for speeding, and I swear I didn't speed in that bit.
I mean, obviously, is this your first time league racing with Gavra? Am I right in saying?
Well, just first time ever, yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, how are you finding the intensity of it? Is it a little bit more different to usual?
It's a lot sweatier than what you do online, yeah. But the main reason I wanted to go into league, because like when you go online racing, people just brake check you, don't they? And
yeah.
And it just spoils it. I just wanted to do some proper racing where it's clean.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm really glad you decided to do that. I think it's one of the reasons why we all get involved in league racing is kind of for the same thing, so that you don't get biffed off into turn 1 or whatnot by idiots online. But yeah, good racing for you. Really did like watching you. Caught a couple of your fights. I know that you were fighting with Denmark and a few others today. But obviously, I'll ask you one more question. You know, you're glad you got Portimao out of the way. Rest of the season, we've got Austria and then Jeddah and then Las Vegas. Well, Austria and Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, before we have a little sort of week-long break for Tier 2. How are you feeling about those tracks?
Austria is probably my favourite track.
Yeah.
Because it's a short track. I think everyone likes Austria, really. Jeddah, I've got a feeling I'm going to lose a wing. but I'm looking forward to Las Vegas because I love that track.
Yeah, okay. Well, you're joining a few people who seem to really love Vegas. I think it's going to be a battle and a half, considering the DRS chains that are going to be around the track. But in any case, well done today, Matt. Good results for you, especially for your first league race, and look forward to seeing how you get on next week, mate.
Well, I've only started playing the game as well. Like, I'm new to the F1 games. I've always loved F1, but never really played it until last year.
Well, we're glad you joined us.
Next season, I should be a bit faster. I want to try and get the assists off, though, you know. I can do Austria with no assists.
Yeah.
But I'm just a few tenths slower on laps, so a bit more practice. Yeah.
Yeah, more practice will get you there in the end. But well done today, mate, and we'll chat hopefully again next week.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, we're going to fire over to Money Game, who joined in for this evening. Hopefully Money Game for us.
Hello.
Hi, mate. How you doing?
Good.
So, it was quite a tough battle for you out there, but you were right in the thick of it for the race victory. Tell me about it from your perspective.
Yeah, it was good. I had good battles, but like my tyres, it warmed up after about 3 or 2 laps, and then I was like stuck behind a couple of people. I don't know what the guy name is, but I think he's in like a hat. he was like, I had a really good battle with him. And I was just like stuck behind him, and then eventually like pulled away.
Ah, yeah, that was a good fight with yourselves. That's Frizzy you're talking about, who you had a good battle with.
Yeah.
How did it feel coming back into Tier 2 for the first time in a bit? Was it as competitive as you remembered?
No. It's like more people's pushing more.
Hmm.
And it's like you can't pull away as much as what you could. Like when your tires are good, you can't pull away because everyone's tires are even more better. So
Yeah.
and then they were on, I think it was mediums, and I was on softs, and then I was like, oh no, I've done the wrong strategy here. So
I mean, you did definitely do your utmost. I've got one question for, well, two questions technically. First of all, are you racing in Tier 1 tonight?
yeah.
All right, Mike, that's good. I can ask my second question then. How are you feeling about Austria for tonight?
Not good, because I feel like I'm just gonna get a penalty over and over again.
Oh dear. Well, I hope you keep yourself within track limits, money game. But well done today anyway. It was good to see you back in Tier 2, and good luck for tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to feed it over to Jarno, who's decided to join us in. Jarno, 11th place in the second race and having some good fights earlier. Obviously, he retired from race 1. Jarno, can you hear me? Cool, and the artist formerly known as Truly Jarno, are you there? I can see that you've unmuted your mic, Jarno, but I can't actually hear you. Oh, doesn't look like we can get a response from Jarno, it seems. I'll give him another couple of seconds. I don't want to rush him too much. It might be that he just has something that he needs to reconnect into his headset, maybe. I can't hear him, sadly. I don't know if you guys can, who are still watching. Thanks for continuing to watch the stream, by the way.
Do you know?
I know you. Hello, Jarno?
Hello?
Hey, there we go. See, this is why people time. How you doing, mate?
Fine, and you?
Yeah, I'm doing great, thank you. You were involved in some good battles there through the 2 races, but I know you had a few issues in race 1. Tell me about your struggle first race.
A lot of understeer in the setup I had. And it was getting so unbearable that I just decided to retire.
I can understand that. What did you change between race 1 and race 2 then to make you finish in 11th place, which looked like a really good drive?
Yeah, I just mostly changed the front wing and rear wing. I had it set up for racing and for hot lap, but I used the hot lap one instead of the racing one.
And that seemed to make the difference. Brilliant. So you obviously, a retirement at 11th, that's a good foundation to start off to go into next week's race where we're heading off to Austria. How do you feel about that tracker, Jarno?
It's probably my best track, but I'm scared of the track limits.
You're not the only one. It seems that everyone's scared of the track limits, Jarno.
Yeah.
Go on, mate, go on.
I heard everyone already saying it, so I think I'm not the only one.
No, not at all. Well, it was good to see you in the races tonight, Jarno. It was really good to see you out on circuit with Gavra, and it's good to have you on board. But hopefully next week, maybe even potentially sneaking some points in. What do you reckon?
I think there's a possibility for place 10 or place 9, not higher because they are too fast.
You never know. We might get a wild race. But well done tonight, Jarno, and speak to you soon.
Thanks, man. Speak to you soon.
See you later, mate.
Bye.
So, incredibly, we've got 2 more people who've decided to come and join in towards the end here. We've got Sim Freedom. Now, Sim, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Fantastic. Now, Sim, I don't know exactly who you are, because obviously your sim name doesn't match up with your F1 name. So who are you?
Yeah, I'm Frizzy.
Oh, well, tell you what, that's really well done today. A race victory and a second place for you in the second race there. Tell me how it went for you. First race victory of the season.
Yeah, first race, honestly, I tried to get overcut. You know, I think it really worked out for me. The pressure tires helped out towards the end, so yeah, very happy with that.
And how was the intensity of the fights that you had across both races?
Yeah, as my first league race, you know, wasn't really used to it. It was very intense, so yeah.
Well, obviously you'll be leading the drivers' championship. I'm not talking about your drivers' title chances yet because it's very early on in the season. It'd be a bit cruel of me to try and ask you how you're feeling about that. But in terms of looking a bit further forwards, you know, Austria, Saudi Arabia, Vegas, what are you thinking about those tracks? Do you like them? Is there one that you hate? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, with Austria, again, like everyone said, track limits. I think probably it's going to be the hardest for me. And with Jeddah, I think like Sector 1 is pretty hard at Jeddah, so I might have to do a bit more practice with that, so yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely understandable. But well done today on your results. Really good fighting between yourselves and Overwatch and Money Game and Dino who's joined us as well. So good to see you out on track with Moricom, and hopefully we'll be talking again next week in a more positive way.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, mate. All right, we're going to cut it over to Dino, who's joined me. I think this is the first time I've to have a chat with you, Dino. Hopefully you can unmute yourself. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing, Dino? That was two races with different outcomes. How do you feel about them?
To be honest, not that good because I bottled again 2 podiums. But the second race, went relative good. Money Game finished P3. I finished P4. Relative good points for us for the team championship, and overall, I'm happy. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good to hear. Obviously, I hope you heard about the comment before about the back marker who'd retired and the AI came out of the pits, which caused that accident. What are you know, because obviously this is your, if I'm right in saying, your first time properly racing a full season in Tier 2. What are your targets for this season? What are you hoping for?
To be honest, to win the team championship is my priority.
Yeah.
And and maybe the driver championship, but it will be hard because my teammate, the Steps, is very fast too, and I don't want to risk any incidents on track with him. So if he is faster, I will just let him pass, and the team championship has priority.
Yeah, absolutely. I can completely understand that, Dino. So good races today. It was a shame. How is the one thing I wanted to ask you, because you do compete in Tier 1 as well. Are you racing tonight?
Yeah, I'm racing tonight too. Yeah.
What I wanted to ask you, because I've asked Money Game this, and I would like to talk to JMB Surreal about it as well, because he races Tier 1. What are the differences that you've noticed between Tier 2 and Tier 1? Obviously, the track position's different, but is the fighting still as intense, or is it different?
It's the top 10 fight is really hard. Like the top 10 are really fast, and I just hope for points for Weekend League 1 and to help Chris out, because I won't dare the championship title 2 with him, but this will be a hard one, a really hard one, but we will try.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Dino, for joining. By the way, really good to speak with you and hear from you. Your voice, by the way, is perfectly clear. I understood exactly what you were saying, fella. So don't worry.
Yeah, my English is not that good, but I hope it was. You can understand it.
It's more than sufficient. It was great speaking with you, and well done on the second race result and the fight back in race 1 as well.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone. Well, that is it. It was a delightful chatting with everybody in Tier 2. I think that's the most people I've ever interviewed in Tier 2 in 1 year. Always good to see. But thank you very much for watching the stream. It's been a lot of action, a lot of racing all over the circuit. Tier 2 will be returning next week here with Gavra at the same time, 5 o'clock. We'll be racing around Austria, which is exactly where we're heading tonight for Tier 1 in just over an hour's time. So do tune in for that. A big thank you once again to 3D Printing for You for sponsoring the league here with Gavra. Great to have them on board. I'm Jack TM53, your commentator for Tier 1 and Tier 2, the weekend league here with Gavra Racing. And wherever it might be in the big wide world, have a good one. See you soon.